cbgray. Hop in the range, take off into space.
Hey guys, it's cbgray coming to you guys live with another Destiny video. How are you guys doing today? So in today's video I want to talk about upgrading the IO bunker, the moon bunker, and the EDZ bunker, because now officially all three are out. The IO one just launched today. So we're going to be talking about how to upgrade all three of them. As you can see here, I just upgraded my IO bunker and I've finished my other ones, and I just wanted to kind of reflect on all the things that I learned along the way to kind of make it easy to get Warmind bits, as well as also making it understandable on how this thing works, because it's kind of overwhelming. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Hopefully this video ends up being helpful. If it does, hit the like button. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe, because we love to have your beautiful faces. And yeah, you guys are extra beautiful, so I just want to say thank you for everything. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So basically the way that this thing works is, for the first thing you're going to do is drill into the IO bunker upgrades section right here when you go in. And essentially what you're going to see here is you're going to see three rankings here that are all going to be composed of 7 squares. And so the way you can think about it is each one of these squares you need to get in order to fully upgrade. So you're going to need a total of 21 squares in order to upgrade a bunker. So that's the first and easiest way to think about it. Now the next thing that you need to realize is that every single one of these squares is going to cost a certain amount of legendary shards, a certain amount of planetary materials, and then the main one that you guys are probably wondering how to get is the Warmind bits. And so then the last thing is as you go down the line from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3, the Warmind bits are going to get more expensive. So we're going to be talking about how to get the Warmind bits and also how to make these upgrades less expensive so you do it the most cost efficient way. So let's start off with how in the world you're going to be getting Warmind bits. So the best ways that I've gotten, or I've found so far through lots of mistakes and lots of friends helping me along the way, is first off, we'll talk about the easiest ones being your bounties. And so every single week you get 2 weekly bounties as well as your daily bounties, and then you get repeatable bounties that you can grab as well for Glimmer from Rasputin. I do recommend on every single character jumping in on the weekly bounties and knocking these out, because these are 100 apiece right here in terms of Warmind bits. So you can end up with 600 if you do all 3 of your characters right there, just from knocking out the weeklies on each one. Basically the weeklies consist of, one is just running through the legendary lost sector a few times and actually opening up the cache and defeating some champions. Then this one right here is gonna be from completing 4 of the SERAPH public events on the respective planet. So for this one, it's IO, and yeah, you just do the public event 4 times, you complete it, and you get this bounty done, and you get an extra 100 along the way. The dailies aren't too bad. This one is just complete 3 patrols on IO, and that's done, and you get an extra 50. And same thing with these other dailies. These are 50 apiece. So if you do your dailies, you'll get an extra 50 on those bounties. Then from there, the additional repeatable bounties, those will range around 10 to a little bit over or a little bit less based on some other perks that you can unlock. So the easiest thing that I'm saying right now is that bounties help out a lot with getting Warmind bits. But that's not the only thing. You're not just going to be sitting in front of bounties all the time. So the next thing that I want to also mention is as you do triumphs, so if you go into the Almighty Seal, as you're picking up bounties, these bounties will give you 100 Warmind bits apiece. So there's a few that you see that I've already grabbed, and as I've grabbed these give 100. So just be checking out for your triumphs in the Almighty Seal, and then also in the Seasonal tab as well. Because in the Seasonal tab, if you go to Season 10, some of these also will give you 10 as well. And some of these actually aren't too bad. So one, for example, that's not too bad is complete a SERAPH Tower public event while wearing a full set of 7th SERAPH armor. You can grab this right from the Season Pass. And that also applies for, there's another one that's exactly like it for wearing the whole set of gear while doing a legendary lost sector. So you can get 200 right there just from doing one time of wearing all the armor that you can get from the season pass, which I'm sure most of you guys have, or if you don't have it yet, you're probably very close to getting it. So that's the next thing that you're able to do, is to get more Warmind bits as well. And so moving on from there, now that we've talked about bounties and now that we've talked about triumphs, now I want to kind of talk about the strategy for actually getting Warmind bits and spending less Warmind bits, and also kind of working this whole system to your advantage. So let's go ahead and talk about that. But we're going to actually fly back over to the EDZ real quick. I'm going to cut the film and show you guys why the EDZ is the one that you're going to want to start on. One thing that I want to make very simple too is as you're turning in your Warmind bits, you're going to get these upgrades that are then going to award chipsets. When you get those chipsets, you're going to turn in the chipsets right here, and then this ranking is going to move up, and when it gets to the end, you'll be able to pick up an engram, and then you'll also be able to get a bunker rank bonus. As you get all 7 of these, the bunker will be fully upgraded as you get more chipsets and turn those chipsets in here and pick up more of these ranks. This is what you're going to have to do for every single bunker. Now let's get into the specifics. Alright, so now we are on the EDZ bunker. I went ahead and flew over here, and I want to explain why you should do the EDZ one first, but I'm also going to explain the order you should go in as you do every single bunker. So this applies to the Moon, the EDZ, and IO. So, the first thing you're going to want to do once you have some Warmind bits is you're going to want to make it less expensive to actually make purchases. So now the way that you're going to do this is by actually doing cost reduction tier 1 to start off. So if we read this, it says in the EDZ, SERAPH bunker upgrades cost less to acquire. So what you're going to want to do is buy this one, and then the second you have enough Warmind bits again, you're going to want to do cost reduction tier 2, which is just on any destination, Rasputin's auto rifle weapon frame pursuits cost less to acquire. You don't really want to worry about that one too much, but you need to get cost reduction tier 2 in order to unlock tier 3, because the way that it works is if I don't have tier 1 bought, I can't buy tier 2 or tier 3. So if you want to buy a tier 3, you have to buy tier 1 and tier 2. So the way that we're going to try to get to tier 3 is we need to get tier 1 and tier 2 first. So when we get to the tier 3 upgrade, which says cost reduction tier 3, it's going to say EDZ bunker upgrades cost less to acquire, and it's even more. So the first thing you're going to do on any bunker, IO, the Moon, or EDZ, is max out cost reduction first. Simple. Knock it out, get it done, boom. The next one that I like personally to get done, and I'm going to show you guys here in a second, is this key one right here, and it's the tier 3 Warmind bit generation on the EDZ, and I'll tell you the reason why I like this one. So it's completing strikes, crucible matches, and gambits have a chance to drop Warmind bits. This is huge. So a lot of you guys have been asking how are you able to get so many Warmind bits so quickly. This is what did it for me for the most part. So if you do Warmind bit generation tier 1 first, and then this one says on all destinations bunker clear has an extra chance of awarding Warmind bits, and then doing the tier 2, and then eventually getting to the tier 3. When you unlock this, if you're playing trials all weekend, you'll be getting tons of Warmind bits. If you just grind the, let's say the Lake of Shadows strike over and over, you're going to be getting 40 bits over and over and over again at a very high volume. And the same applies for if you're doing Crucible, or I know people that were farming Mayhem. Whatever you decide to farm, one thing that you want to do is as you're playing different activities, you want Warmind bits to be dropping. You don't want the only way to get Warmind bits to be is when you're actually doing stuff related to the bunkers. So this is something that's huge, and the same thing applies on the Moon and on IO. As you get the Warmind bit generation tier 3 on the Moon and IO, it'll also drop bits on other activities such as Menagerie, such as Lost Sectors, Patrols, the public events, all of those different things. So the order that you want to go in is first, cost reductions is the first one, so get those done. The next one is going to be the Warmind bit generations. And then after that, the last thing that I like getting, and then after this you can go in kind of any order that you want, but I also like going for planetary material auto collections as well, because basically what this is going to allow is eventually, as we read, Rasputin's resource frames collect planetary materials while you're busy. And so this kind of applies as you keep going as well. As you get to tier 3, Rasputin's resource frames are much more efficient collectors, collection rates increased. So essentially you're going to be getting more planetary materials. Now why is this important? Because as you can see, it costs 40 Dustlight shards per upgrade once you get to tier 3. So the last thing you want to do is run out of Dustlight shards, or if you're on IO, run out of phase glass, or if you're on the Moon, run out of helium filaments. So this is the other one that I like to max out in order to make sure I have enough planetary materials as I go as well. So first, let's recap one more time, all cost reduction, and then all of the Warmind bit generation, and then after that, you're going to do all of your planetary material. After that, you can just start filling in any upgrade that you want that sounds really nice to you. If you want to upgrade all your Megatrons, you can do that. When I say Megatron, that means that gigantic robot that's going to spawn in the public events in the Lost Sectors. You can upgrade that if you want, or if you want to use the Valkyrie, you can upgrade that. But either way, those are the first 9 that you want to do on every single bunker. Cost reduction first, then Warmind bit generation, and then planetary materials. That's, in my opinion, the best way to go about upgrading every single bunker. And then as you go, once you have all of these Warmind bit generations, as you're playing whatever you play in the game, Warmind bits are going to be stacking up on top of each other regardless. And then you can stack that up by doing your weeklies and your dailies every day, and the next thing you know, you're going to have thousands of Warmind bits. So that's all fine and dandy, but what if you still don't have enough planetary materials? Now that's when you're going to want to go to the spider. Make sure you're checking the spider every day to see if he's selling dust light shards, to see if he's selling phase glass, or to see if he's selling helium filaments. If he's selling any of those, make sure you scoop them up. I know just before this reset he was selling phase glass, and I made sure to stack up on a ton of phase glass before this this started, and now I've used a bunch to fully upgrade my IO bunker, but I had over 1,000 ready to go that I picked up from the spider, and I would recommend doing something similar. Check the spider every day. If the spider doesn't have what you're looking for, some other place that you can go to get planetary materials is also from those daily bounties that the planetary vendors have, such as Devrim, or such as Eris, or on IO would be Ashermere, I guess. So you can do those as well, guys. So I hope this was helpful. I just wanted to kind of make a breakdown video of kind of some of the things that I've learned along the way from mistakes and from all the friends and that we've got to play with on all the different streams. It's just been a blast hanging out with everybody, and it's been fun. So I'm excited to see where this story leads now that we've powered up all the bunkers, and we'll see what happens the rest of the season. Let me know if this was helpful, guys. Get in the comments and let me know if this kind of gave you guys a higher level of knowledge on how to get this done. Hopefully it did. I love you guys so much. You guys all have beautiful faces, and with that, I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next Destiny video. Thanks, I love you guys.
My visas equipped, they shot to the lip. Take out the coin, then I flip. Pull out the thorn, then it's ripped. Dragon tattooed on my hip, invading like my name is Zim. Dunking these moves like a rim. Yes, I am harder than Shin, making you pay for your sins. The drift of the 9, yeah, I'm rolling with them.
No, I'm not fine, I feel incredible. No, I'm not regular. Stand on a pedestal, Joker's wild. When he's off of his medicine for my squad, I go hard like an animal, bygones. Got your head on the reticle, no trust. You need to go level a man down, but no, I'm not giving up. I think that I said enough.